change. Apparently, Jake is going to make somewhere in the realm of 9 million, and Tommy's going to make somewhere in the realm of 4. Just had to clear that up.
Insane.
Yes, insane.
Fake boxing match.
But right before we started recording, somebody walked into the office. I heard them over there, and they said something was different. You know, Jake just wasn't normal Jake. I've seen the other fights. Something was different. The thing that was different was he wasn't fighting a 50-year-old retired MMA fighter, right?
No, so, you know what was different? Jet lag. It's a far flight.
No.
It's jet lag. Listen, poor guy. He's fighting like 16 hours, whatever.
Yeah, all that I'm saying is
flying from London, right?
Yeah. All I'm saying is if he loses again, I just feel like this storyline, like what he's done so brilliantly was pick opponents that your average viewer has no idea. They just hear MMA champion, best striker in the MMA, real boxer. Like he was doing it perfectly. And he has to come back and beat Tommy Fury. He's got to get jogging, got to get the cardio right because the story has to keep going.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Hey guys, welcome to group chat. We got a hell of an episode today.
Holy shit.
We have a whole episode with what, 2 topics?
I mean, I don't even know if either of these 2 were the topics that we were on our docket, but we've lost the plot.
We've lost the plot. Just like Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, we lost the script.
Yeah. The script is lost, and you know how on a lot of episodes on podcasts and news tweets, they have labels.
Oh yeah, we're getting
this
labeled.
May or may not be.
Yeah.
This is going to be that episode for
every
us.
label. Throw all the, just put whatever labels you got over there, Spotify, slap it on this one. Yeah, we got a good episode. We have a lot to, like I said, not a lot of topics, but a lot to discuss about these.
I will say, if you're Monday morning, this is going to wake you up.
Woo! This is a hot episode.
This is good. Okay, well, here you go, guys. Let us know what you think. We really had fun on this one.
I don't care what you think. I know what I think.
Yeah. Don't tell us what you think. Enjoy it. We had fun making it. I hope you have fun listening to it. Here we go.
You ready, Ari?
I'm ready.
Rolling audio, rolling video, rolling Zencaster. It's a Sunday night. It's going to be a great pod. Go ahead, gentlemen.
Wow, that's a guy who just got a raise.
Yeah, that big money talking.
Man,
that's the intro.
That's 100% raise. Oh, man, that's great. Okay, guys, here we are. Big night for boxing. I would say boxing won tonight. And some people in the group chat family here lost. Anand, you look a little down. Shay, I heard you complaining earlier. Jake Paul has lost.
America is sad. So this is when Rocky versus Drago. It's like, it was a moment.
You know what this is the equivalent of. Drama was doubting Jake Paul the whole week. It's like we're America, we're fighting Afghanistan and Iraq, and he was rooting for Afghanistan and Iraq.
Self-hate.
You're comparing
self-hate
to America, and Tommy Fury is Afghanistan.
Yeah. What is he?
I just don't like
the fucking bald eagle.
He's from your state. He's from your state.
He represents America.
Yeah,
he's the best. He's the best we have to offer.
Yeah, I'm just really disappointed in Drama's rooting interest.
Yeah,
I'm
sure Jake lost,
boxing.
and
I'm rooting for the integrity of the sport.
I watched the full fight. I know you guys all did too. I thought it was a great fight.
Great fight.
I thought it was pretty even, and Jake actually knocked Fury down.
I saw the script before.
We saw the script too. Barstool released
the script. It was a good
So
script.
what was that? That was a whole fake script or something?
No, I think it's real. It's a real script.
Or Tommy just didn't follow.
Someone went off script.
Funny. On the script, it said
Seventh
the Barstool
round.
script. No, that there's gonna be a cut under Fury's eye, and there was actually a cut under Fury's eye.
And they even said the 7th round he'll hit the ground, and it's just like the script was so good.
If I would have seen that first, I'd have been like, "Oh shit, this is fake."
I think they should release the script before games and boxing matches. Just release the script. If those of us who want to see the script can see it.
Yeah, you can just judge the acting more so than the suspense.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
from
Well,
a
hey,
boxing perspective, Drama, I know you're the expert here. What'd
Sure.
you see?
Tail of the tape.
Well, okay, look, I want to try to be careful here in this event not to come off like a hater. I think that what Jake Paul is doing is very hard. I think he has a lot of balls. I would never fight these people. I think it takes a lot of
Beat
balls.
his ass, Jake.
That being said, he has said some wild shit, like he's going to fight Canelo Alvarez and fuck everybody. And he said some pretty disrespectful things. What I saw was the truth of Jake Paul's boxing abilities. If he were just a boxer and not an influencer, he would barely be kind of hanging on in the pro realm. And don't get me wrong.
That's impressive. That's impressive in itself.
That's relatively impressive. Yes. But the thing of like Jake Paul, he's going to be a world champion. He's going to fight Canelo is just like, come on. Can we finally just, put that to bed? That's all.
I think the biggest thing that I saw, I know nothing about boxing, but I'll tell you my 2 cents. He looked out of shape.
Who, Jake?
Jake
He looked out of shape
tired.
last fight too. It's just he's finally fighting a 23-year-old instead of a 50-year-old.
Yeah, he just looked tired.
He did say in the post-fight he was sick twice. In his
You
training
gotta say
camp.
that.
Yeah.
I think he just parties. I just don't know how like actually focused. If you've been training for this long and your cardio is still that bad, that was only an 8-round fight.
Yeah.
If your cardio is still that bad, I don't think you're that.
I mean,
Dedicated.
He
what's
did
even
knock
funnier.
him down. He did knock him down.
What's even
did?
funnier? Well, for those who don't even know, there was a fight today in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Oh,
in Saudi
yeah.
Arabia,
Yeah.
Jake Paul, the YouTube Viner, beverage mogul, versus
That's
a really famous guy's boxer's brother.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Welcome to American show business.
and so I this whole time I thought it was Tyson Fury he was fighting.
Yeah, he's
And
a
then
real
I
The
just
guy.
whole
look up
time,
and
up
I'm
until
like,
today?
yes. And then I was like, who's this guy? and then so there was like a ton of fights in Saudi Arabia today. It was hosted by the Ministry of Sport. Shout out to the ministry because they spent a bag
Yeah.
to get all this done.
100%.
And interesting enough, if you're in our Discord, one of our Discord Kathys was at the fight
Yeah.
in Saudi.
Wow. That's good.
And so he was posting pictures and of all the undercards and then eventually the main event. I think the most fascinating thing about the whole thing was because the guy he fought is not good, right? He sucks.
Yeah.
Who, Fury?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
nobody.
he sucks.
Yeah, he's nobody.
This
He's nobody.
guy was bawling, crying.
Exactly.
He goes, I defended my legacy. I am whatever
Yeah.
Fury, whatever his name is.
He comes with his own slew of issues, but I'm not
He
saying
was
this
so
guy
good.
But have you
represents
seen
boxing.
Have you seen the TikTok?
And
of-
he had a belt on afterwards. There was no championship, right? What
No.
belt did he win?
The YouTube championships. I don't know. I don't know.
But have you seen the TikTok of 4 years ago what Jake Paul was doing versus what Fury was doing? 4
Yeah.
years ago, Jake Paul was doing the "Call Me Maybe" dance, and he was a skinny little white kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fury was like training to be a boxer.
Yeah.
It's
so not so
impressive.
far. Yeah.
And that's the
So
point
Jake
that like I
Paul's
feel like I've
done.
always tried to make is like what Jake Paul is doing is impressive, but you just can't like put him in he can't say I'm fighting Canelo Alvarez. People can't put him in the like, wow, he's really like a real fighter.
But
If he
doesn't
was,
it put it in context of what fans actually care about? Because I haven't cared about a boxing match since
yeah,
probably Floyd Manny till
Yeah.
Jake
No,
Paul.
I watched Floyd Logan.
Sure, Floyd Logan.
I
We all
paid
watched
$50
Yeah,
for
yeah.
that too.
yeah.
But
They care about
if
story.
it's not
That's
a
all they
Paul
care
brother, but like the way Fury was crying at the end,
There's
Yes.
passion.
and we all are going to watch the rematch.
Yes.
about. Yeah.
And according to the script, it said it was going to be in LA, the rematch.
We got to go.
Oh, they even
Yeah.
wrote that into the script?
Yeah, it said the rematch would be in LA.
Oh, we got to go.
Yeah, if it's LA, we got to go.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't
look, so the real highlight, there's two mega highlights for me. One was when Logan Paul screams out,
Yeah.
if you're listening, Tommy, you're a bitch.
He said the
I
whole
like
Fury
that.
family's a bitch.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was good.
I
Oh
think
my
that's incredible entertainment.
Great.
Great entertainment. Then the other piece is after Jake Paul lost, I thought his interview was actually really good. He admitted that he lost and that he was flat-footed and just didn't. And then whatever he said, I don't agree, but like that's fine.
Yeah, he didn't actually blame the judges.
No, he knew he got beat. He said I lost, which is good, which is a good way to lose. And then he drops the inshallah that I will fight again.
Yeah.
And then obviously the kingdom loved that. So big win for
Kingdom
Saudi
won.
Arabia. Jake Paul.
I don't know if anyone made money, but the kingdom won.
The kingdom paid for this.
Everyone made a bag. What are you talking about, Drama?
Do you
I'm
understand?
talking about like
much
the
money-
actual event.
Do you know how
Was
much
the
money
actual
Saudi Arabia?
event-
No, event lost $50 million.
Okay,
It
that's all
doesn't
I'm saying.
matter. But
That's all
Saudi
I'm saying.
Arabia paid Jake Paul an
Sure.
appearance fee. They paid
Yep.
Tommy Fury an appearance fee, and they all went home with 7 to 8 figures.
And they
That's
got
what I'm saying.
cars.
No one
and they,
pay-per-view. No, I don't think anyone made $1.
well, pay-per-view. What do you have? You
I
just
don't
put
mean
a camera
anyone.
there.
I mean,
You're
of
not
course,
doing
Jake
anything.
Paul. Of course, Jake Paul and all them made money. I mean, the event itself lost money.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
150%.
I mean, it's like the
because
World
they-
Cup.
I
I mean,
bet
the
you
World
they
Cup,
cost
Qatar
us
spent
billions.
$300 billion. They didn't make $300 billion on the World Cup.
Yeah, that's fair. I bet you because I
You could
believe
have bought
Saudi.
Facebook.
Exactly. You could have
Qatar could have bought Facebook and said they signed out a soccer game.
Yeah, because all those like there was a lot of celebrities and a lot of boxers. Like I bet they
But Mike
paid.
Tyson was there.
Yeah, they had to fly them all private.
They
to
spent
Saudi.
they spent $50-100 million on this fight. But culturally, if you're young, put aside our age group, you're 16, you're hearing about Jake Paul in Saudi Arabia. Do you understand the shift that makes to that person the perception of Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Whereas we growing up with 9/11 and those types of perceptions of Saudi Arabia, we're very different. Like you ask our age group, do you want to go there? There's absolutely not. We don't. But
Yeah.
you ask a
Yeah, the
60
Nelk boys would go in a heartbeat.
yeah, now they're like, oh yeah, what a Jake
They
Paul
probably
went
go
there. I
all
could
the
go there.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They went to Russia.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can't. Let me tell you
During the
something.
war.
You show up with Happy Dad in Saudi Arabia, you're fucking locked up.
Yeah, sad dad. I don't think. Yeah, but they're doing a good job at that. I mean, it's working. And this is what I will say too. This is the other thing I want to point out, like because there's kind of nuance to my opinion. Once again, Jake Paul having the balls to fight anyone, good for him. Jake Paul creating a circus that could get Saudi Arabia to pay $100 million somewhere in the ballpark to have this thing even happen and make a huge bag. I mean, incredibly impressive. It's just the only part that I want to sort of put to bed is the guy's not, a competitive boxer.
I will give you my analogy to what Jake Paul just did.
Yep.
Few years ago, some mediocre fund managers went to the kingdom and asked for money to launch a fund. This is before it was in vogue to take money. A lot of people went when it was like, whoa, we don't take money from Saudi Arabia. This is fresh off of Khashoggi's thing, right? They went and took the money, they went and invested it, and they ended up being, successful. Jake Paul basically, and maybe it's his team, maybe it's him, orchestrated something that has had mega cultural and financial impact for an entire country. It's pretty insane. I know people would say that sounds insane, but like the impact of that first piercing of the wall of like acceptance from a society is so big that, one, credit to the Middle East, like between World Cup and things like this, they're breaking down big barriers that like specifically Americans have had.
Yeah, and Logan Paul was there, 45 days ago for WWE?
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to frame it a different way too, is that I think one thing that you also see is there's influencers that are getting paid to go to Saudi Arabia and post and stuff. So let's just say they get all their expenses paid.
Yeah.
They make, let's say $30,000 or something plus expenses, whatever, $50,000 trip. Jake Paul as an influencer, quote unquote, created a fucking spectacle instead and made like 25 million.
Yeah.
And put on an event that was probably worth, 50 to 100 million. So it's just like, I think to even put it into that perspective of like coming from an influencer and leveraging a country with endless pockets that wants, a good PR look, he fucking, I mean, that's absurd.
I mean, who knows how much he actually made? My guess, it's somewhere in the $3 to $5 million in his pocket is my guess. But I think the impact, the money spent on the event was bananas.
But I thought they released. I
about-
thought they said Tommy Fury made 7 and Jake made 25.
Oh,
is that
that's
what it
real?
said? Wow.
Somebody said that. I don't know if
Oh,
that's
wow.
real. Somebody said
That's
that.
probably real for them
because
to
they were
do it in Saudi
saying
Arabia.
that Tommy, the bet would have doubled his money to 14 million, and that Jake made
Wow.
25. That's what I
Okay.
heard. That's what I heard.
Okay. Then I don't know.
No
what I'm
idea
talking
if that's a fact, but I heard that.
about. If that's the case, then holy shit.
Yeah, he made $25 million.
If he probably made more. He probably did appearances and
Yeah.
And
And
he
if you think about
the other thing was, Americans always get this when it comes to like specifically Arab Muslim countries. Generally, Americans have this perception they've been pretty disrespectful, and he was not at all.
No, and if you think about it, drama, and you can like attest to this, like name like a boxer that's not Canelo Alvarez. So he's a big star. Name like the kind of
Evander
level below.
Holyfield.
No, that's currently fighting.
What do you want? Currently fighting, not that popular.
Yeah. Danny Garcia.
Sure. He's a little like
So
past his
Danny
prime in
Garcia
that one.
would not get a first take appearance, a get up appearance, an ESPN Sports Center appearance, every
Oh,
podcast
yeah.
on the damn planet, and Jake Paul and Tommy Fury did.
Did they?
Yeah, they were on everything. So
And
it
for the
doesn't
record,
matter.
go.
No, but my point is, for the purpose of the sport of boxing,
It was great.
they are boxing. Jake
Yeah.
Paul and Tommy Fury. It's not everyone else. It doesn't matter the skill level. It doesn't matter the performance. This is what the fans actually want to see. And I'm sure boxing like purists are going to have a bone to pick with it, but that's the truth.
Yeah, I think, and even just for your reference for the listener, like Danny Garcia is actually pretty high on the list, and he still wouldn't have got those things. There's so many people that are like big deals in the world of fighting. David Benavidez is a good example, who has a really big fight coming up in the world of boxing. It's a huge fight, but he's not getting all of those placements, and that's about as big as a fight can get until he fights Canelo.
So to your point, a friend of mine was over at our house and our kids were playing, and I had the Laker game on. They're like trying to make a playoff run, and he's not like a big boxing guy by any means. He's like, "Hey, the Jake Paul fight's on," and I'm like, "Still? I thought it was like 10 in the morning." He's like, "No, I think it's right now." So we go to pay-per-view, we get it, and his wife's like, "Yeah, hey, can you go get my phone?" He's like, "No, I can't. I'm gonna watch the fight." Like, we were glued to this TV for 8 rounds.
Yeah.
And
Because you need the story. It's the story.
Yeah, I think
You know
what's crazy is that like when you think about what makes the NFL so good, what makes movies and TV so good is storytelling. And this fucking 2 brothers from Ohio have just like taken over. They get the game so well. It's unbelievable. Like they're such like, to me, given what they do, they're extremely undervalued and underappreciated.
100%.
I think the only trick with them is that like it's all like it all relies on what they decide to do next.
Yeah.
Like if they stop today, if they get tired, if they're like, I don't want to be in the public eye anymore, it's over.
So
But they are brilliant at figuring out the next thing and doing it. Like one guy's the fucking head of the WWE now, and the other guy's fucking has the biggest boxing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, my gut tells me like they're basically the next Rock and Vin Diesel. They will be mega movie stars in the next 5 to 10 years. They're going down that path. They've won. More people like them today than they did 10 years ago. And more
10
people,
years ago, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, more people like them.
Yeah.
More people know who they are. And if you look at Vin Diesel was a bouncer.
Yeah.
A
And Rock
bouncer.
was a WWE guy.
Yeah, a WWE. Like, there's Jake Paul and Logan. If they can go fight, they'll learn how to act. It's not that hard. Sorry for anyone who's listening as an actor.
Yeah.
It ain't that fucking
I would
hard.
love to see a Logan and Kevin Hart movie.
Yeah. Logan and
You
Kevin
might get
Hart?
to.
Are you joking?
Yeah.
That's blockbuster.
I don't know why
Fast
they're
and
not
the
doing
Furious.
that now. They could do that now.
I think you have to build up the arc, right? it's like part of the story. It's like, all right, he's 26.
But Addison Rae just got a fucking big movie.
Yeah, that's fine. But she's on a different, like, and no knock to her, but I think Logan and Jake are the fucking rock in the next decade. And I think if they just take their time, they go pursue this boxing thing, they'll do wrestling, they're going to go, Prime is going to sell for $1 billion. I know everyone's like, oh, they own 1%. It doesn't fucking matter. It's all perception. That's what Hollywood is good at. And they're going to be so famous that when Vin Diesel is like way too fucking old to make Fast and Furious 17, he's like, fuck it, give it to Jake and Logan.
I mean, a Jake, Logan, Kevin Hart cop movie? Who's not watching that?
Yeah, they're like twin brothers and Kevin Hart is stuck with the twin idiot cops. It's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree. But I do think Jake's got to win this next fight. Because this is in the storyline, what he's done so well is pick the fighters. And like
that's because you watch boxing. He could go get his face pummeled tomorrow by Michael B. Jordan. I would not care.
Okay, but this is what I'm saying is, number one, I have to issue this change. Apparently Jake is going to make somewhere in the realm of 9 million and Tommy's going to make somewhere in the realm of 4. Just had to clear that up.
Insane.
Yes, insane.
Fake boxing match.
But right before we started recording, somebody walked into the office. I heard them over there, and they said something was different. You know, Jake just wasn't normal Jake. I've seen the other fights. Something was different. The thing that was different was he wasn't fighting a 50-year-old retired MMA fighter, right?
No, so you know what was different? Jet lag. It's a far flight.
No.
It's jet lag. Poor guy. He's fighting like 16 hours, whatever.
Yeah,
all that I'm saying is
flying from London, right?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is if he loses again, I just feel like this storyline, like what he's done so brilliantly was pick opponents that your average viewer has no idea. They just hear MMA champion, best striker in the MMA, real boxer. Like he was doing it perfectly. And he has to come back and beat Tommy Fury. He's got to get jogging, got to get the cardio right because the story has to keep going.
I think people are going to lose their mind when he's in Fast and Furious 16. Lose their mind. Fast and Furious, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh.
I wonder why they haven't done that. Why wouldn't you do that? I understand what you're saying, D, but like,
I think it's part of they're 26. They know they're going to be the fucking face of the Fast and Furious franchise. If I'm Vin Diesel, I'm going to them right now and saying, look, I got 5 years left in me. And then I'm basically the Morgan Freeman of Fast and Furious. I'm going to slot you in, maybe do an appearance here and there, but you're the stars.
I feel like that conversation's
There's no one
already
else in
happened.
Hollywood. There's no one else in Hollywood that can replace Vin Diesel and The Rock right now.
It's them.
It's them.
I
It's
feel
not
like that
John Cena. He's
conversation
too
has
old.
already happened. I feel like they already know.
Hollywood elites have already met the Illuminati.
Yeah, because this is the other thing is I think if you're like a Hollywood elite, if you're an agency owner, a studio owner, I think that what you see is like these guys, these two little Paul brothers can fucking carry eyeballs.
Oh yeah,
like the awareness, the amount of people that said the word Jake Paul today is fucking madness.
Yeah, and I think what people are underestimating, like, you know how there's like people that are really famous in America, and then when they go to other countries, they're just not. Mm-hmm. These kids are famous everywhere.
Oh.
I guarantee you, like in India, everyone knows the fuck Jake Paul is.
I bet they do, yeah.
Yeah, these kids are blockbuster.
They're blockbuster. I'm telling you, they're going to be the biggest movie stars.
I'm a huge fan. I wish
my
Drama jumped on board. He's from his home state.
My only knock is Jake needs to cut his hair.
Yeah, I agree.
The mania.
That was like their friend?
No, just the mania. You didn't really support them.
That's why they're going to beat his ass.
What do you mean? I mean, I sort of support him. I sort of support him.
OH.
I-O. If I see him, we're friends. I don't not support him. I
liked how we'll end on this because it was gone too long. But I liked how Tommy Fury's hair looked while he was fighting. Great. Jake did not. That was a bad decision creatively. Creatively, terrible decision. Cut your hair short. You just look like you're going to lose when your hair is all fucking sloppy and sweaty.
But Fury has very thick hair. So he has a benefit of...
Jake just made $9 million. You could, for $50,000, you can buy thick hair.
Yeah, that's true.
You can buy the thickest fucking lion hair you want.
It's not $50,000 either.
Yeah, Jack, that's my point. Let's just say you got the best surgeon in the world give you thick hair.
Jake did look disheveled.
He did not look good from a blockbuster standpoint.
I think he's partying. I think it's hard to keep up that cardio work you really got to do. You know, the kid has to be living a little. I don't know what the fuck he's up to, but I'm sure he's
Puerto Rico.
He's having a great time in Puerto Rico. Okay, is that it? Do we feel like we can put it to bed? Shay, are you okay? Is there anything?
Shay?
Had to watch the Muhammad Ali of my generation get put in the body bag by some dude from Love Island. Like I don't know how I'm going to reckon with that.
He was on Love Island too.
He was on Love Island.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh
that's
my
why
God.
That's why he's known. He's
that.
not known for being a boxer. He's known for being a reality
That's
TV
why he
star.
had to cement his legacy.
He's Jake Paul
Otherwise, his
too.
legacy was
He's Jake Paul. He's the same thing. It just so happens that his brother's a boxer, so he's fought his whole life. But he's a fucking.
The interesting thing is he looks nothing like his brother because his brother looks like a fucking
Something's a
Viking.
little
very
weird.
weird.
I feel like they adopted him or
They
stole
must
him or
have
something.
different moms, right?
Yeah, they're half brothers.
Oh, they're
I feel
half
like
brothers?
that's
Okay. Because Tyson Fury looks like literally a giant.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Drama. Wasn't Tyson Fury, when he won, he was kind of like this fat dude that just everyone was shocked that he won?
I watched that fight.
Well, no. I don't think anyone was really shocked that he won, but he is a really big, soft, squishy man. But he is still currently people would argue, it's a valid argument that he's the best heavyweight of all time.
All time?
Yeah.
Like over
Not with
Tyson?
that shirt he was wearing.
People argue that, and it's a valid argument. He's incredibly good, and he's still fighting. He'll have a big fight this year. That will be a big deal. The thing that you're thinking about and that's getting sort of blended into that memory is there was one fight in particular with Deontay Wilder where he looked like he got completely knocked out cold, and then he stood back up, and everyone was like, "Oh my God!" Like I can't believe he survived that. But he's incredibly good. But if you looked at him, he looks like a really big carpenter or something.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Shay, sorry for your loss. It'll be okay. And keep your eye out
Inshallah, it'll happen again.
Fast
I don't
19.
think that rematch time he's going to beat him. He made Jake look so bad. Jake looks so bad. It's awful.
This is why I tried to tell you, Shay. This is just a moderate level boxer. That's what it looks like.
He got sick twice, though. You got to remember, he got sick twice.
Oh,
his arm
All right,
hurt.
turn his mic off. Turn the mic
Yeah.
off.
Let's get to the news.
All right. On to some news. Inflation is, running wild. And we all know that. We've been talking about it. But here's the other thing. People are still spending like crazy. So it's not having the effect. And obviously we're raising interest rates. We're doing all this stuff. We keep saying that nothing makes sense. We've actually been saying that for a few years now. But this is a new thing that doesn't really make sense. It's not just in line with kind of typically how you would see a reaction to inflation and rate increases.
Yeah, there's a couple things here. So we had mentioned this a few weeks ago. Personal consumer spending rose 1.8% in January. But if you start thinking about the last couple years, there has been significant wage increase. There has been inflation. So if you consider all of those things, obviously people are spending more money on the same things. So the math doesn't make sense. The other thing is that Social Security benefits rose by 8.7% January. So they finally adjusted for inflation, which is the largest cost of living increase in 4 decades. So what we're seeing is that there's this chart that everyone's showing about consumer debt, and it's how it's up 20-something% over the last year. But if you think about how much money was given in stimulus, how much money did people make in the markets, home increases, wage increases, it's not surprising that people are still spending more money. I don't think the data is as crazy as I thought it was going to be. When you look at even the debt increase, if you only look at it from the direct perspective of like consumer debt has increased, but you didn't take into account inflation, you didn't take into account that people have made more money, that you didn't take into account their how homes are worth more money, that they got stimulus, then I would say that's scary. So the inflation's kind of in line with what's happened with the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any confusion that the consumer has no problems with the current state of the economy. And it doesn't matter what the Fed has done or will do. I don't think it's going to matter.
Yeah.
So unless the Fed, they have one tool, just keep raising rates and hope to crater the economy because that's their only goal. And I don't know. I just don't see any near-term signs of the economy slowing.
But does that mean that like they're just going to go hammer on this rate increase? I mean, like if right now spending is still increasing in all these areas and they need spending to chill and that's their only tool, like do they just drive it into the ground?
It's so funny because 3-4 weeks ago, everyone was praising the Fed that they were this like, wow, we didn't realize they knew what was going on. And then everything they said 30 days ago has to be revised 30 days later. So they have actually no idea what they're doing.
Yeah. I just like, where does this go? Like, you know, like, let's just pretend you're Jerome Powell for a second, Anand.
I think
what do
you
you
just
do?
let the markets work out. What's the point of creating the economy to a deep recession? I just don't see what the upside is.
Like, does spending calm down at 8%?
Yeah, but what do you accomplish?
Stop spending. And so inflation, the problem is...
Yeah, but inflation is a market dynamic where there's a market clearing price for goods and services.
I know the problem is I agree with you in any other normal circumstance. We handed out so much fucking money. It's fake. It's all fake money.
But we stopped handing out. So at some point, that market clearing price lowers.
But a problem is when you look at credit card debt, that's where a lot of money's coming from too.
And that's fine. So then once they start defaulting, they won't be able to spend. So inflation naturally comes down.
So Wells Fargo said that they think
that's what no finance genius economist has been able to explain why you can't just let the market figure it itself out.
I think it's too risky.
Risky for what?
Inflation.
What does that even mean? If people can spend at these inflated prices, those are the new prices.
I don't like these new prices.
Yeah.
And if they can't spend at those new prices, the prices will come down. No one has been able to explain that to me.
Isn't the fear that you could kind of or the thought is you could kind of quench the issue a little quicker before it just gets really bad?
But what's
like
bad?
People just fall off
tell me what is bad?
Yeah, standing in line for bread type bad.
Like everybody's is defaulted on their credit card.
There's no systemic problem in the economy. This is very different than 2008. This is what no one can explain. Mm-hmm. This is not 2008. 2008, the financial system was at the brink of collapse where you literally couldn't go to your Bank of America account and withdraw cash.
No, that was not true.
100%. What are you talking about? We're days away from that.
But it didn't happen.
It didn't happen. We were days away from that.
That's all fake news.
I mean, you're wrong, but that's not the case now. So I don't know why everyone's panicking about the Fed needing to do all these different things where that's not the situation in 2023.
No one's panicking except the Fed. They're the only ones panicking, right? Like who else is?
Yeah, but in 2008, this is a fact. We were days away from you could not go to your ATM and withdraw cash.
Depends on your bank. Wells Fargo, I expect no money to be there. They have no money. Wells Fargo has no money. They're fucking idiots
it's
over
all
there.
Fraud anyway.
Yeah. That's a Ponzi.
But my point is there's no systemic problem in the economy right now. And I think everyone's overreacting to a problem that really has no long-lasting effect. Like if people don't want these certain goods, they'll stop spending on them and the price will come down. I don't know what we're doing. It really makes no sense. No one can explain it. No, everyone just says like, oh, inflation. Like, what? Okay, stop spending.
I try to push a national stop spending day.
Yeah, you did.
No, you
I
did.
mean, I
but
love
the
your
point is, it should
solution.
happen naturally. Is my point.
It should.
Yeah, it makes total sense to me. I'm just so in over my head as far as my knowledge of how the fucking nuances.
No, but you
of the
shouldn't be
economy
in
works.
over your head because everyone's trying to pretend that they're way smarter than they are because no one can explain what I just what I just said.
Yeah, I'm more of like a Jake Paul fan when it comes to this thing. Is there a Jake Paul of Jerome Powell?
Look,
I need the
I
dummy
think
version.
that
I know if you read books about the economy from 20, 30, 40 years ago, you hear all these terms, inflation, deflation, and how it affects the economy. But no one actually has a real world kind of consequence of what we're doing now and why it's so bad.
you just write it off.
What do you
Maybe.
write off? What do you write
I
off?
don't know.
It's a
No, but
Seinfeld
my point-
reference.
it's a
He goes
Seinfeld
like, where Kramer
got it.
just goes, you just write it off, and
Yeah.
Jerry goes, what do you mean? What do you write it off? And he goes, you just write it off. But he's like, to who? You just write it off.
I've had that conversation in real life probably 10 times.
That's what I'm saying. You just
With
write
friends,
it off. Like,
you know,
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Yeah.
You just write it off. This is look. Here's the thing. It's all fake.
So what do we do? Do we follow? I mean, Anand's story checks out. I just don't know how to like offer an alternative.
I know, but the problem is Anand's story. It's not what the elites want. So
Davos doesn't like that.
They don't like
they want to
that.
keep you poor. They want you to eat bugs.
look, so let's just jump to it. The top story in the world today is Wall Street Journal has figured something out that we have been trying to figure out for years. COVID was leaked out of a lab in China. Wall Street Journal figured this out.
Wow.
Like, this is why they're so
What about
special.
the bats?
They're so special. You know, the bats that they were eating in the market
Yeah.
really didn't check out. There was this
I thought it
one
was a
reporter at the
pangolin.
Wall Street Journal, one reporter in the Wall Street Journal that had just was studying so hard, science,
he's so brave.
this. Wow, it's a genius. Figured out that COVID leaked out of a lab. No fucking shit. What's funny is last night, Woody Harrelson hosted Saturday Night Live.
Mhm.
And obviously I'm not watching the show, but I saw the clips in the morning. And he had this whole rant about like, what if Big Pharma shut down the entire world and made us stay home and had to take their drugs, or a drug cartel shut us all down. So we had to take their drugs so that we can go back out in society. He's obviously a little loony in terms of in general.
He
He's
didn't seem very lucid on that.
yes, but
That rant. I watched
in
the clip.
hindsight, all the people that were claiming that this came out of a lab, that came out of China, I think the assumption at this point by like even semi-sane people is that this came out of a lab, and unfortunately, America funded this lab.
Yeah. And you want to know what else is really bad about this? Is that if we would have just, in the beginning, let's just say, run a scenario. Oh shit, virus leaked out of the lab. Oh shit, it's spreading. Oh, let's just say it was all out on the table. We would have had a head start on exactly what was done to the virus.
Yes.
To make it what it became, as opposed to a year of straight
Denying
mystery. Of not knowing how it binds to your cells and how it, the amount of damage that was done.
Don't you believe? Because I firmly believe this. Because obviously we all knew the assumption was right. The Occam's razor. You like.
I
that
don't
saying.
know who Occam is, but explain to me that again. Who's
So you
Occam?
like his razor?
Occam's razor is basically the most obvious explanation to most things is probably true.
But who is Occam?
He's a really obvious guy.
He's just obvious. You look at him, he's like, "Oh, that looks like an Occam."
Like there's Occam, yeah.
And
You
by
know
the
when
way,
you see him.
he has his razor with him.
Yeah, when you see him, it'll be obvious, and
There's
he'll
a lot
have
of
his razor.
different. But it's like it's a saying. Occam's razor. The most. It
But
pretty
nobody
much,
knows what Occam
you
is.
You can apply this to pretty much any aspect of
Is
life.
Occam a human being or not? I know this. This is part of the fraud. This is part of the elite fraud. Everyone just keeps telling me Occam's razor. Like, what the fuck
Who's
is that?
telling you Occam's razor?
I hear that all the time.
Other
But I
than me,
think
who's
if
telling
you-
you that?
Someone else told me Occam's razor. I'm like, what? Who's
I think the
Occam?
wrong thing to focus on here, though, is who Occam is. I think
But
the other part is the important part.
The principle of it is what you need to pay attention to. Whereas, like this applies.
Occam was a principal.
No.
I can't believe you grew up with this. Okay. The principle is
the most obvious explanation is likely the right one.
But in today's society, you're considered a crazy person for saying that.
No,
He would have been.
If you rewind
On anything,
if you
say the
blame,
obvious,
if you blame
Yeah,
this
yeah,
whole
that's true.
thing, Trump broke all of this.
Occam.
Basically,
he cut him in half with that razor.
Yeah, he did. He
Trump
fucked
took
Occam
that
up.
razor and said, "Slice yourself
no,
up,
because
buddy."
whatever Trump was going to say in 2020, New York Times, Washington Post, we're going to go the opposite. Fauci was going to go the opposite.
Yeah.
So we got a leader that half the country just distrusted, no matter what. He actually had the
He was
CIA
right.
briefs,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He had the briefs, and he just handled it so poorly and he wasn't a proper leader
Yeah.
that no one actually had confidence in what he was doing. So when he banned, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I do got to say, at this point, when we're starting to get a little bit of distance from Trump, I blame Trump first. Trump is an idiot, and he caused so much fucking turmoil and problems. But I'm also starting to blame everyone else a little bit more too. Like, you can't all just lose your shit because you don't like this guy. Like, where did the stability? Like, I get that, like, you know, Susie on social media can lose her fucking shit. Who cares? But like Fauci and all these people, you know, like, I know Trump was a psychopath,
It's a joke.
but
No,
like,
I
Nobody
think,
had a neutral view that was accepted by mainstream media.
but if you were to hear the accounts that books have been written about the temperament of the way he was acting as president, you'd be very cautious.
I know,
of
but
anything
someone had data besides him. One other person must have had data. Two other people must have had data. Occam. Where was Occam?
I think Trump beat the shit out of Occam
Occam cut him up.
for 4
No,
years,
but
man.
the point drama is you're right, but even his own lieutenants have come out and said they were so scared of what he was going to do with the information he had that no one wanted to support his statements.
Yeah,
I know, but all that I'm saying
agree
is
with
That was people on his own side. Not
All
even,
that I'm
forget
saying-
the Democrats, forget Washington Post, forget New York Times. It's Republicans within the administration
Republican
were
Occams.
afraid of him. And
This is
they were
all that I'm
afraid
saying.
of pushing.
All that I'm saying is, like, okay, I understand. It was probably scary. It was probably whatever. But so much damage was also done by people's inability to hold firm. No one died.
Yeah.
Trump's not Putin. He's not killing people. People aren't falling out of windows. And there were so many people that acted negligently by being little bitches in hindsight. I know in the moment
Yes.
it was scary, but you also did damage. Like, I'm going to make a crazy statement, and I'm not comparing Trump to Hitler, but I'm going to say it. There were probably also leaders and people in positions to do things when someone like that was coming to power that didn't because it was scary. And I'm just saying that it's your responsibility to stand up or to say something or to speak out. And I think a lot of people didn't do that. And I
Yeah.
think we paid a price for that as well. That's all I'm
the
saying.
other problem is unfortunately the people that did speak out, and look, we were on this podcast making fun of people that were not vaccinated and blah, blah, blah. Just get vaccinated. Who cares? Like, whatever, just move on. We basically created this mega divide with society where if you were either like a lunatic if you believed that this was not something that just a crazy virus that just infiltrated the world.
But you were racist
considered-
if you said it came from China.
Yeah, exactly. And the reality is that, like, I think if you look at it from a holistic standpoint, like, I think we're all at fault. I think the people that were like overly conspiracy theory that thought everything was fake, like, there was elements of what they said was right, but their delivery didn't work. There was people on the other side who were extremely overtly cautious and thought the world was falling apart. They were somewhat right, but their delivery was wrong. And we're talking about it, but like, it affected billions of people. It fucked our world up. And I don't know. like how long is going to take to rectify the damage that was done for those few
I
years?
100% agree, but the thing I keep pointing back to, if Mitt Romney, Marco Rubio, even Ted Cruz were the president, I don't think we would have had this. It was Trump. He's the reason the divide happened.
So the entire world changed.
Yes.
History changed because of the star of The Apprentice.
The division that Trump kind of just brought out in America, I don't think existed with any other Republican candidate.
But Anand, can I just ask you like I'm not trying to set you up here. I'm asking an honest scenario question. Don't you think that like Trump was kind of alluding to the lab a long time ago? So just using this issue in particular, Fauci had some reasons not to say that it came from the lab. He was, in charge of funding the lab.
He was on the take.
And this wasn't like a scared of Trump
Bad
thing.
hombre.
He was saying this didn't come from a lab. That's ridiculous. That came from here. And that was sort of like that wasn't a Trump problem. Don't you think that like, I guess what I'm getting at is like, I think people Fauci.
I don't think people would have taken Fauci as kind of the record of what is happening if there was a different leader in power. And the reason why everyone took Fauci as record of statement was because no one believed Trump.
But don't you think they always like put a guy in there that's like the representative of this issue? And Fauci would have been that under Obama too. And he would have been doing the briefings and he would have been doing here's all I'm saying. This I guess all I'm saying, because it's not actually just about the Fauci issue. I think that Trump was a major issue. I think he broke the world. I think all that. But I also think other people had separate interests that took advantage. So Fauci, I think, had to save his ass. I think a lot of pharmaceutical companies saw opportunity to make unprecedented amounts of money. And so they pushed for all these issues. And there were a lot of people that were really opportunistic and in the era of Trump and COVID. And it wasn't simply Trump being a psychopath. I think Trump is a psychopath, but I think there's also a lot of other people that fucking led really poorly. And it's a joke.
But they might have taken advantage of the fact that they knew there was this distrust for our leader.
But so you think like the head of Pfizer took advantage? Well, no, because the vaccine came out.
No. I actually don't think that. So wait, sorry. Say that again about the head of Pfizer.
This is all I'm saying is like,
I saw him at Davos. He was dodging that guy.
Yeah, he was Davos dodging. I think that we're going to find out in years to come that some of this stuff about like lockdowns and you got to get the vaccine to do anything and you got to like was very motivated by financial gain for all of these pharmaceutical companies. Kind of like what Dee was saying about imagine if the cartel locked you down and blah, blah, blah. I'm saying, look, I think a lot went wrong.
I'm not one to defend a pharmaceutical company that makes, hundreds of billions of dollars, because I think they're, obviously very unethical at many times, but I don't think their interest in rolling out the vaccine was a cash grab.
Oh my God. You can be both.
I think
you can do both.
I think
you
both.
can be in the interest of the people, but you can also make money doing it.
Like I didn't think that
they were going to make money. I'm not saying I'm defending the ethics of pharmaceutical companies in broadly, but I do think there was consensus that the first rollout of the vaccine was going to limit mortality, and it did.
And I think it did. It did.
It definitely did. I'm just saying there's no doubt in my mind that was financially motivated because it cost money to develop the vaccine. So they knew that this was a cash grab. It's always a cash grab.
No, isn't that okay? Isn't that okay?
But it's similar to war. If we talk about how many people made money off all of our wars.
I don't see any Republican talking about how much Halliburton made during Iraq and Afghanistan.
You know why? Because that's when the Republicans were still smart. And they don't even know how Dick Cheney fucking fleeced the American government. Like,
so it's like convenient to like talk about it now.
Yeah.
But it did limit mortality. I'm sorry. The first virus was very deadly. Yep. Then it mutated into a less mortal disease.
Sure. But if you take it back to the origin, if we had just known, holy shit, my bad, we fucked up. We let this fucking leak
My
happen.
guess is they probably, like, honestly, if you actually want to play, like, you know, Monday morning quarterback, they were probably like, if we tell Trump for sure that China leaked this virus, he may fucking nuke them and we're in World War III. There's like World War III PTSD from ex-administration officials.
I know, but
it's all public.
But we financed the lab. It was our lab.
Yeah, but everything that was done within the administration, they were freaking out that this guy might just launch a nuke. He has the codes.
This is all I'm saying. To reel in my statement of like
the codes.
Vaccines and all. Yeah, he doesn't remember. To reel in, because it's easy for this to like get really big and go on forever. All that I'm trying to say is I think Trump is obviously largely to blame, but I think a lot of other people let us down with their leadership as well. And I think that just only pinning it on Trump almost continues the problem a little bit, which is like this, like, oh, Trump is just so bad. Trump is so bad. Trump is so bad. It's like, no, a lot of other people really fucked us as well. And I just feel like a lot of other people were weak and a lot of other people lied to us and a lot of other people.
Yeah, I agree with that point. No one stood up, and at least the problem was is that the people that stood up were the dummies of our society, unfortunately. And it was the Woody Harrelsons. It was the
Clay Travis.
Eric Clapton.
Like it wasn't Eric Clapton. Yeah, it wasn't like, unfortunately, like any intellectual was afraid of standing up because you would be destroyed. And that's in a free speech environment. Like, it's kind of a joke that like you can't. Think about how many people are banned off social media for saying that it was a lab leak.
Yeah,
everyone thought some guy ate a bat.
Yeah,
do you bet?
Occam's razor.
That's why at the risk of like creating a whole different side thing, which I don't want to, is that's why I think the Twitter news is so offensive and so much worse than Fox News, inflating facts or lying in their direction, is like, you stopped this conversation. You stopped the ability to even talk about it. And now in hindsight, it looks like it was right. And what the fuck?
Guess what? Thank you to the Wall Street Journal for spending tireless time.
Yeah, what would we do without them?
But hold on, we've talked about the lab leak for years now.
I think the week this shit happened, it said it was a lab leak.
Yeah, it was,
and then it became crazy to mention it publicly because you look like a lunatic.
Remember that one guy on Rogan drama? I forget the guy.
Zohan?
No, way
Weinstein?
before.
Eric Weinstein?
No, way before. He was like the actual reporter that did all the gain of function research.
Yeah, I remember, but I don't remember his name. But yeah,
they might have killed him. This is like 3 years ago.
Yeah, but that was so controversial, and people were like, "Joe Rogan is, a racist. Joe Rogan is blah blah blah." Like you couldn't. We taught, and I don't think Trump did this. I think a lot of other people did this. Taught our population to hate the people that brought up this story. And in hindsight, the story was right. And that is really fucking scary to me.
I think Anand's point is that Trump created this like ism.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
Yeah,
I agree. I just think that other people perpetuated it.
I don't think if anyone else was in leadership on the Republican side or the Democratic side, literally it was Trump. It doesn't matter if it was any other person. We would have had a more consensus way of like, I mean, look at 9/11. Everyone rallied around George Bush.
He was a moron.
And he's a dummy.
All that I'm saying is it's scary to think that everyone else has no backbone, that the guy from the fucking Celebrity Apprentice can break our country. Because no one else. That's all I'm saying.
I think he's that powerful. I mean, he's going to win again.
Maybe he is.
You're all in on it. So you've already wrote your check.
So you've donated.
No, he's gonna
Anand knows if Trump's in power,
Anand picks winners.
His taxes are going down. His equity is going to go up. He's all in. Who cares? The racism is not going to hit him. He doesn't give a shit.
No, I think he's going to win the Republican nomination, not the presidency.
You think he beats DeSantis?
You think Gavin Newsom is going to win?
Really?
If Gavin Newsom wins,
that's a
you better
tough
get ready to and pay 70% taxes.
Edit that. All right. You can't have that in there.
You should just bleep it out. Bleep it out.
Yeah, mine too. That's an interesting like parlay bet, right? Trump wins primary. Newsom beats Trump. I don't know. I think we get a Republican, man. I'm not saying that's what I want.
If Newsom and Trump are the candidates, I'm not voting. I don't care. Whatever. You guys can go fuck yourselves. I'm not voting for
riding on that green made me see his confidence. The way he just rolled up on the
green. That's what he's about to do to our White House.
Yeah, he's gonna roll up on it.
He's
Get
rolling
out.
right up in the lawn.
Get out, Joe.
What's up, fuckers? I'm back. I don't know, man. What do we get? I feel like people are so sick of. I feel like if there's even kind of a competent, not Trump Republican, I don't know. I have no idea. Can't call it. This is all I want to do. My closing statement is: if we could rewind to how vilified you were for bringing up this story, how terrible it was. You were a racist. You were a bad person. Your tweets were deleted. Sometimes your account was deleted, and it ends up being right. I think that's very scary because what if something happens that is a real danger? What if the vaccines would have been deadly and we missed it? It wasn't, but what if it would have?
Yeah.
What if? Whatever.
Yeah.
And you can't silence people because it's just the narrative that you've decided. And I think that you can't. Once again, you can't blame one person. There has to be other people willing to stand up to that, no matter who that could be. If it's Donald Trump, if Gavin Newsom ended up being whatever, Justin Trudeau seems to be going a little crazy in Canada. And no matter what, I want to know that there are people in place that no one person is strong enough to break the whole shit. And that kind of seems like what happened.
But
goddamn right, America.
No, but
Jake Paul, right?
But to what you said, I think the genie's out of the bottle. I don't think we ever go back to that.
No, I disagree. I think if you look at opinion people on both sides, it's so ridiculous. Both sides, the way they address any topic. Yeah. I'll tell you when it will change, and it will happen in our lifetime. Is that we have not been fortunate enough for really great leadership, and it will happen. It's happened in companies, it's happened with sports teams, it's happened in many instances, there's been great leadership that changes it. We do not have our best and brightest, specifically in America, I can't speak for the rest of the world, in politics. We actually have some of the worst people.
It's a terrible job.
And so I think the pendulum will swing and we will get really talented, smart, level-headed people that will figure this out. And I think I actually have more faith. We probably won't get to any more topics today, but Warren Buffett in his annual letter came out and said, I've learned time and time again over my decades of investing, never, despite all the self-doubt and self kind of hate of America, never bet against America. And I think
that's true.
And I think he's absolutely right. And I think the last, 6 years was chaos. It's going to rectify. Every time anything goes too far one way, specifically in America, it does revert back to the mean. And I think that'll happen. We just haven't found the leadership. There will be a person that rises that will change everyone's view. And they will be like, you know what? Yeah, did come from a lab. I like that guy.
It could be one of the Pauls.
I like that girl. Yeah, it will change. There will be somebody that comes that shifts the narrative. We just haven't had that person.
Yeah, but if you see the way opinion writers get paid and how they get monetize their clicks, it's about it being as extreme as possible on both sides.
I want to give you one example.
That's not huge. That's not America. Opinion writers have no influence.
And you're right, Anand. And I think that's really scary because I think news networks actually are taking more severe approaches because that's what gets rewarded. Like our landscape is kind of rewarding extreme takes. But I do think when you look at things like the rise of like Substack and these long podcasts and these different things, I mean, the fact that Rogan, I know we talk about him a lot, but is, arguably the biggest media platform in the country.
Sure.
And it's 3 fucking hours with no clickbait of just meandering talking from anyone from like a bee collector to, The Rock.
Bee collector.
He's a beekeeper. I know. I listened to the episode. Yeah. Great episode.
I think that is a really good sign that there is a
that's my point. I think don't look at Twitter and don't look at like CNN and Fox News as what America is. America's a lot smarter than that. We got brainwashed. We all did. Both sides, every single person in this country. We had all these weird tendencies. Oh, you're not wearing a mask. Oh, you are wearing a mask. Oh, you didn't get vaccine. You didn't get the vaccine. You're going to school. You're going to work. You work from home. Everything is divided. We got fucked.
Yeah.
By this fake bat.
But I wonder.
It's all this bat.
Batman.
There was no bat.
There was no bat.
That's the whole. This is like, by the way, if I'm writing the next Batman, I should write the next Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, it was ridiculous that
you should be the bat being falsely accused. That's how it should start.
It was so ridiculous at the time.
It's a cartoon.
You're like, it wasn't me, honestly. It was the lab.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we even entertained the fact that a bat, like,
someone ate a bat? Do you know how insane that is?
Someone caused a global pandemic
to shut the whole world and made like Peloton worth $20 billion. A bat made Peloton worth $20 billion.
Way more. What are you talking about? $20 billion.
A fake bat.
It's probably worth like $100 billion, dude.
Peloton was not worth $100 billion.
What's it now?
Can you
$1 billion?
Let's see.
Can you just, while you're looking at it,
telling me a bat made Peloton work?
I mean, that's what it would have taken. A fucking weird bat from nowhere.
Yeah, because it's such a shitty company. The only way that company would $20 billion is like someone made up a fake bat.
Occam. It's just, man, the part that sucks so bad is that what that means, like I said before, is that the day the first person got infected, they knew what the exact sequence of the virus was.
They knew.
Did you know how long we spent doing
China
research?
Knew, America knew, and everyone shut up. And I don't
think how many people died because we didn't understand how that virus binds to cells, for instance. They knew.
I think they misjudged the impact. Clearly, they misjudged the impact. I mean, it just changed our entire way of life forever.
Yeah.
Because you pussies didn't tell us what happened.
Yeah. Imagine the moment. Imagine the like the petri dish slipped.
I want to know
and it was like
the person that was like, oh shit.
But apparently like early doctors who were alerting people in China to the lab like were killed.
Yeah, they definitely
That's why I'm
were.
saying, why are we such pussies here to stand up to Trump? They're murking people over there and they're still speaking out.
Peloton's $50 billion, just looked.
A bat. Peloton should have never existed.
They should change their name to Bataton.
Yeah, Baton.
My rough math,
the bat's
$50 billion
back.
was the peak.
Yeah. I mean, that's one horrendous company.
But think about
that benefited from the
Zoom,
bat.
Shopify, all these companies.
Everybody.
Stripe was $320 billion.
Crypto, NFTs.
Don't
you think
talk
there'd be
about crypto.
You think there'd be a Bored Ape without fucking that bat?
Crypto's fine.
It should be called Bad Ape Club.
Yeah, Bored Bat Yacht Club. Oh my God. Okay, do we want to end there?
I mean, we can't talk about anything else. This is a lunatic episode.
It's a hot lunatic America episode. Keep in mind,
Jake
we
Paul.
started off by comparing Jake Paul.
Conspiracy.
Started off by comparing Jake Paul to America and Tommy Fury to Afghanistan, and then we ended with whatever the fuck we ended with.
We will know where drama stands.
By the way, Spotify being the elite will have to label us with all the theories. COVID-19, Jake Paul conspiracy, bat. We can't even fucking. This episode won't get served.
Have we got labeled at all? Have any of our episodes got labeled?
We get labeled all the time.
Every time you say COVID, you can't say COVID.
Oh shit!
It's against America. Everyone has COVID.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's a Fury guy.
Yeah.
He's against America.
Yeah, they're gonna know. I might get a late drama
You
supports
can't be
Afghanistan.
for Jake Paul either in this America.
Oh man. Okay. Well, fucking hell of an episode, man. Our listeners, I don't know what you guys think. Let us know. It was fun as hell to record, but give us your feedback. Let us know the future of Jake Paul and Logan Paul and their careers. Are they maybe the leaders that could unite this country one day? I don't know. And then let us know about fucking all the other shit. That was fun. I think people will like this one. We had a good time.
It's a good one. It's
It's good.
It's a fun listen. Okay. That's it. No shout outs, right?
That's it.
Okay. Good stuff. Thank you guys for listening. Everyone have a great week. And we'll see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye.